Hey everybody, Jenna here. Really nice to see you guys. Glad you could check out my video. I'm going to warn you now, it's not super exciting. I am going to talk in this very quiet, even toned NPR voice. So if you're almost on the verge of sleeping, I will help push you over that edge. So we're all stuck inside thanks to coronavirus and, shelter in place. And it could be a bummer, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. I miss a lot of my friends, but I can still talk to people because social media is an amazing thing. And one thing that's been happening on social media lately that I really love is everybody getting on and reading, just reading and talking about books and talking about music and talking about the things that connect us all. Those common threads of entertainment or helping each other find maybe a level of book or music that we've never even gone to before. So I'm really excited about that. I thought I'd start sharing part of my library, my personal library that I keep for various reasons. I struggled tonight with how to do the first one because I really didn't know how to kick this thing off. Thought about reading like a kid's book. I don't have any very little children books because I don't have any more little kids anymore. But I have plenty of my books, and my books are crazy and varied. But then I thought, if it's my first ever video, I should talk what I love, what I really, really love. And I am a huge Jane Austen fan. Like huge. Absolutely huge. I mean, I love science fiction and fantasy, but Jane Austen's where it's at. I'll show you like some of my prized possessions here. Actually, are these 3 beautifully bound, very old books, and they are actually Jane Austen Persuasion, Jane Austen Pride and Prejudice, and Jane Austen Sense and Sensibility. I found them at a flea market years ago. They're so old and they're falling apart and they smell amazing. It's just dust and must and fluff. The pages are all yellow and kind of brittle, but I love them. And when it comes to Jane Austen, I absolutely adore her. I adore her comedy, her dark humor. I adore her observations of the world around her. She had a fantastic snide and snark that came through in her heroines, and that was really refreshing to read, no matter what age I am. She always had these really complicated male characters that had feelings, that had morals. And man, does she knew how to use a well-written letter to push a story forward. And the guys normally have the really good letters, which is something I think is very much lacking in today. Of all the books, Persuasion is my absolute favorite. This is my number 1 book in the entire world. My number 1 Jane Austen. It's not everybody's. For some reason, this book speaks to me. If you've never read it, never heard of it, Anne and Frederick are really your main 2 characters, your love interests. Anne is the daughter of a wealthy baron and other wealthy parts of the family. Frederick is a penniless seaman. They fall in love, they get engaged to be married, they're young, they're beautiful, they're wonderful. But Anne's family objects because of he's such a low prospect for her. He's just this lowly, seaman in the Navy. There's no hope for this man, right? And she needs to marry higher up and, raise above her station. So they convince her to break off the engagement. and he goes off to sea. Now, over the course of the next 7 years, Anne does not get with another man. She does not have prospects because her once very wealthy, fabulous family, very vain and shallow that they are, they lose all their money over stupid spending. Now, Anne is really the most sensible of the family, and she can see it happening. And it's upsetting to her, but she has no power because, it's 18th century England. Women have nothing. And her father loses all their money. Now, cue 7 years later, and here comes Freddie, strolling in at a party of a family relative, and Freddie is now this Captain Wentworth of the Royal Navy. He rose above his station in the military. He was able to win naval battles and came into all this money based off those wins. So now he is a beautiful prospect, but it's 7 years later. And in Victorian times, a woman 7 years past her marrying age, she might as well have 15 cats and be holed up in a house by herself. So Anne is no longer considered a key prospect, really, for marriage. They're just trying to find someone that will take her. Now, of course, Anne feels that, wow, look at Frederick, but Frederick won't possibly have anything to care about me because I broke his heart. I don't deserve him. Frederick is being courted by these young females that obviously want his money. But things just don't click, and he sees Anne, and it's like no time has passed. And the whole book is them somewhat finding their way back to each other, even though they really fight it. Anne feels like she's no longer worthy, and Frederick doesn't know if Anne really ever truly cared. And it takes almost to the very end of the novel before Frederick gets the courage to write a letter to Anne to express his feelings, before he makes a mistake and marries someone that he shouldn't, and before she marries a terrible cousin. There's always a male cousin in these books that is with some sort of money, but they're just terrible people. And the letter is fantastic, and it drives right to the end of the book. As a plot device, it comes so late in the book, but it's almost like a Hail Mary pass of happiness for Anne and Frederick. Like, you're not sure it's ever going to happen between them until this moment. And it's so perfect that it just drives it home that fast. Consequently, if you read Pride and Prejudice, or if you don't, you just watch the movies, you realize that there's letters in those scenarios between Darcy and Elizabeth that kind of drive that a little bit faster in the story. It doesn't take to the very, very end, but you don't see that countenance happen. All right, so I'm going to read you this letter because this, boys, if you're listening, this is a well-written letter. It's a phenomenal letter, and if you ever need help writing a letter to your lady love to apologize or prove your worth, then this is it. I can listen no longer in silence. I must speak to you by such means as are within my reach. You pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. Tell me not that I am too late, that such precious feelings are gone forever. I offer myself to you again with a heart even more your own than when you almost broke it 8 years and a half ago. Dare not say that man forgets sooner than woman, that his love has an earlier death. I have loved none but you. Unjust I may have been, weak and resentful I may have been, but never inconstant. You alone have brought me to Bath. For you alone I think and plan. Have you not seen this? Can you fail to have understood my wishes? I had not waited even these 10 days could I have read your feelings, as I think you must have penetrated mine. I can hardly write. I am ever instant hearing something which overpowers me. You sink your voice, but I can distinguish the tones of that voice when they would be lost on others. Too good, too excellent creature. You do us justice indeed. You do believe that there is true attachment and constancy among men. Believe it to be most fervent, most understanding. F.W. Postscript. I must go, uncertain of my fate, but I shall return hither or follow your party as soon as possible. A word, a look, will be enough to decide whether I enter your father's house this evening or never. Okay, so Frederick takes a chance and he pours his heart out to Anne to say, I still love you. Nothing has changed for me. All I've done for these past 8.5 years is pine over you. Right? So think about it. Letters are so out of touch now. With coronavirus, we're kind of getting a reset. I dare any man that watches this to write a letter to his lady love. I don't care if it's on a post-it note, but make it good. Write that letter, make that connection, or I dare any lady to write it to her man or to her lady love. Whichever way your swing set goes, make that connection, put it down, pen and paper, pencil, but write it with your hand and show your heart through your words. If there's anything that coronavirus has taught us is that we needed to pause and reflect. In nature, we're already starting to see that pause with positive effects. I mean, I have seen more wildlife than ever before lately. And the air is cleaner. The waters are getting cleaner. Just that little bit of a pause was enough to hit the reset button. And we're starting to get some great results. So why can't you pause and reset your heart? Why can't you pause and reset your devotions to the people you love? Whether it's romantic love, friendship love, respectful love, or just mutual admiration love. Find a friend, find a lover, find a family member, and put those words down in pen and paper. Do not type them. Bring it back. Bring it all back. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Life is short. Enjoy it. Okay, so I'm not sure what I'm going to read on this next venture. I could be crazy and read you guys all of Pride and Prejudice, but that would take a lot of sessions. Or maybe I'll just read excerpts that I really like. One of my sons suggested I read Harry Potter. That's a lot of books. Either way, I'll find something. I'll try to do this maybe like once a week or once every 10 days or so, and kind of see where my inspiration comes from. What happens to me that says, ooh, you should read about it from this book. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. It's my first one, so be kind, don't be kind, whatever. It's a pandemic, we're all gonna die, so if you hate me, please tell me below. That's fine. It's okay. Everything's cool. But go out in the world and remember to pause and reset.